Today, I'm going to tell you about a secret battle, a real IT Cold War. But don't worry, no cables were harmed in the making of this video. On one side, we've got the CCNA, Cisco's legendary badge, the sacred foundation for network engineers. On the other hand, there's the cloud, AWS, Azure, Google Cloud. Names shining so bright on LinkedIn, they're blinding. But has the cloud killed the CCNA? All right, before we jump in, let's set the scene. A few years ago, becoming a network pro was straightforward. CCNA, a few years experience, CCNP, and maybe even network architect or CCIE if you were really ambitious. That was the classic path. Then, suddenly, the cloud hit like a tidal wave. The market shifted. Recruiters started swapping VLANs and OSPF for Lambda, VPC, Kubernetes. Panic set in. Engineers began sweating, wondering, what if my CCNA becomes completely useless? Let me stop you right there. Put down that lighter and don't burn your Cisco rack just yet. Because what people often forget is that behind every cloud solution are cables, routers, BGP, and STP. Yep, the cloud is just networking on steroids disguised as a web console. But practically speaking, what does the CCNA actually offer today in the cloud era? First off, rock-solid network theory. Thinking that OSI, TCP/IP, and ACL sounds too old school is a big mistake.
No!
Because when your cloud service crashes on a Sunday night, your networking reflexes will save your professional life. The CCNA is also a common language. It teaches you to think network, packets, segments, frames, subnetting. When AWS announces a VPC or Azure deploys a VNet, you know exactly what's happening behind the scenes. You're not just mindlessly copy-pasting Terraform like a zombie. And crucially, the CCNA teaches you troubleshooting methods, a logical reasoning approach that forces you to ask the right questions. When your ping fails, you instinctively question whether it's physical, network, or application related. This systematic habit becomes your superpower, even with ultra-complex cloud architectures. But let's be real, the CCNA has its limits. It doesn't make you a Kubernetes expert, a Terraform pro, or a guru in AWS billing. It doesn't cover infrastructure as code or advanced API security. For those areas, you'll need cloud certifications. On the flip side, certifications from AWS, Azure, or GCP dive directly into these specific topics: managed services, observability, cloud-native security, and crucially, avoiding billing pitfalls, because nobody wants an AWS bill that makes your banker cry. Yet, where Cloud Certs falls short is overlooking critical network basics: ARP, MTU, duplex. Small details remain invisible until suddenly 30% of your packets vanish mysteriously. By now, you've probably figured it out. CCNA and cloud certifications aren't enemies. They're a winning combo. Two puzzle pieces that fit perfectly together. Today's companies seek hybrid profiles who can seamlessly handle both network theory and cloud orchestration. In short, skipping the CCNA to rush into cloud is like buying a Tesla without knowing how to drive. It looks cool until your first accident. So, concretely, how do you effectively blend CCNA and cloud without getting burned? Here's a quick battle plan. First months, identify your network and cloud skill gaps. Then, work on your CCNA using Packet Tracer while experimenting with AWS or Azure free tiers. Midway through, bridge the two worlds by setting up a site-to-site VPN between your network lab and your cloud VPC. This anchors your knowledge practically. Finally, earn both certifications back-to-back and publish your projects on GitHub. Trust me, recruiters are far more impressed by this than a formatted resume. Therefore, the real question today isn't about choosing between cloud and CCNA. It's about understanding how combining them creates value. Because nowadays, the engineers who stand out aren't 100% cables or 100% YAML, but those who can intelligently navigate both worlds. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't leave without subscribing, liking, and sharing it on all your social media platforms. We're closing in on 100,000 subscribers, IT professionals obsessed with growth. And frankly, CCNA offers the best skill-to-quality ratio to turbocharge your career. And if you don't want to waste years getting your CCNA, but rather achieve it in just weeks, join our private email list through the link in the description. You'll get a chance to schedule a strategic call for your career transition or skills upgrade. Together, we'll build a personalized training plan to become a certified CCNA network administrator. Click the link below and become a recruiter magnet today.